All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kwadash. Double honors unto my apostles and others, a great millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. All right, and I'm going to do this very quick lesson, Lord willing, is edifying, dealing with the 12 tribes and how to say them in Hebrew. All right. And because this is important. It's important to understand, these tribes and what their names mean and so on and so forth. And, I've done lessons in the past where I've gone into, breakdowns of the tribes, which, I may do that. But for today, we're just going to focus in on the Hebrew, how to say the names in Hebrew and what they are in Hebrew. Okay. So, matter of fact, let me start with a scripture. All right. Because let's go to Genesis 49 and 1. And it says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather ye yourselves together that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days. All right. And we're in those last days. All right. And for us, we have a sign, which, you know what? Let me get that. All right. Let me get that. Ezekiel. That's off. Bear me 1 second. I think this is Ezekiel. Boom, 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 boom. 36. 37. Ezekiel 37 and... Yep. Ezekiel 37 and 15, it says, and the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel his company. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the houses of Israel and his companions, and join them one to another in one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. And that's why we now in these days, we carry a 12 tribe sign when we go to camp, so that people see this, because this is prophecy. Whether people believe it or not, it's needed in this time. Thousands of years ago, we didn't have to tell our people that they were Israelites to the extent that we have to today. All right. We're starting with nothing and building from there. OK, so again, the 12 tribes that stick. It's important to be able to know it, inside and out, be able to break it down, understand what each of these words are in Hebrew and so on and so forth. So without that, let's just get straight to it. So the first one is Judah. All right. Which is the so-called Negro tribes. All right. If you came on, if your ancestry came from so-called Western Africa, in most cases, you could very well be from Judah or from the Southern Kingdom, which the Southern Kingdom makes up Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That's why in the prophecy here, they would say, take a stick for Judah and take a stick for Joseph or Ephraim and put them together. All right, because we're coming back together. All right. Now it says, so that was Judah, which is Yahweh, all right, which is Yahweh thanks, all right. That's how you say that, and that's Judah, all right. All right, then the next tribe in the southern kingdom is Benjamin, which is Banyamyan, all right, which is son of the right, all right, which is the so-called West Indian tribes. Okay, the islands, Jamaica, St. Thomas, the Caribbean, Barbados, and so on and so forth. The islands, the West Indies. Okay, then the third tribe of the Southern Kingdom, which is Levi, which you would say that in Hebrew is Loya, all right, which is joined to me. Okay, Loya. All right, that's where you hear the word lawyer. All right, because Levi, which was the priest, which is the mediator between the Most High and the people. Same way when you go into the court and the honorable judge all right, sits, and your lawyer deals with the judge. So that's where you get the word lawyer from. But lawyer, all right, that's how you say Levi in Hebrew. All right, and another point too, to Hebrew in Hebrew, all right, is Ibar. All right, Ibar is the Hebrew way to say Hebrew. Hebrew is the translated way of saying Ibar. Okay, all right, which in Ireland, the way you say Ireland is another way to say, which the Irish are Hebrews. All right, a lot of those Irish are from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, Saint Pati. All right, a lot of those are Benjamites. Okay, because Ireland, which Iberia is how you say Ireland. It's the way to say it is Iberia. Ibaria goes back to Ibar, Hebrew. Okay, so the next tribe is Simeon. All right, which this one trips me up a little bit, so forgive me. But Shemaiwan, all right, Shemaiwan, all right, affliction heard, all right, Shemai is hear or understand in Hebrew, all right. So Shemaiwan, all right, is how you say Simeon, all right, which is the so-called Dominicans on the island of Hispaniola. Okay, all right. The next tribe is Zebulon. All right, Zebulon, which is Zabalawan, which is dwelling or my dwelling. Okay, and then those are your so-called. Excuse me, I keep wanting to move on, but those are your Zebulon is your Panamanians. Okay, matter of fact. Let me get that real quick. All right, Genesis 49 and 13, and it says Zebulon, Zabalawan, shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be a haven for ships, and his borders shall be unto Zidon. And remember, this is speaking on in the last days. All right. Now, again, you could pull up an ancient world map and show where Zebulon lived at. But remember, this was in the last days. In the last days. We're in the last days. 2,000 years plus ago was not the last days. Okay. So Zebulon dwells at a haven of ships. That's the Panama Canal. So Zebulon is the so-called Panamanians. All right. The next tribe we're going to deal with is Ephraim. Now, Ephraim is Iparium, all right, Iparium, which means I am fruitful, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans, all right, because the so-called Puerto Ricans, it's a known joke of, if the wind blows strong enough on Puerto Rican women, but not just them, really the Northern Kingdom as a whole, which are the under the tribe of Ephraim spirit anyway. If you blow on them, they get pregnant, Matter of fact, let's see if that's in this. This is, and like I said, I'm not hitting all the tribes. I'm just in the spirit of, if the spirit pulls me to say it, I'll do it. This is Genesis 49 and 22, and it says, and Joseph is a fruitful bow. All right. Now, when you look up that word bow, I believe it's a ban. All right. Ban. Like I said, I haven't looked at I believe it's ban or bow. Ban, which is son, or, see, there we go. Let me just look this up real quick. I haven't went over this in a long time. I don't want to speak incorrectly. That's why I said I was like, but let's just see. I forget what the word where. Part of me wants to say it's daughter there. Okay, just bear with me. Judah, Zebulon, and Joseph right here. Now, when we read in the book of Revelation, it tells you that the tribe of Joseph is the tribe of Ephraim. All right. Ephraim came from Joseph. Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manassa. Okay. Now, let's see that word. Yep. Son. Bo is fruitful. So, yep. I was overthinking it. So, son. All right. So, read that again. Genesis 49:22. Joseph is a fruitful bow. All right. And now that word there is ban, which is, son. Okay. Ban Yasha'Allah. All right. Son. So he's a fruitful, even a fruitful bow by a well, which branches run over the wall, because Ephraim, so-called Puerto Ricans, were one of the first tribes to make their way over here to America in the earlier parts of the 1900s. You got to remember, there was a time in America where it was really just Native Americans, Negroes, Mexicans, and white people. Okay. And over time, then you started having all the other people turn this place into the melting pot that you see today. The Irish came, the other Spanish tribes came. That took time, but Joseph was prophesied to be one of the first tribes, which is Ephraim. Okay, now let's move on. Now the next tribe is Manassa. All right, which is Manassa. All right. Manassa, all right, which is made to forget. Okay. And let's see if there's something in. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33. And let's see something real quick. Yeah, so moving on. We're going to keep it moving. Like I said, I could do lessons on this in the future. If people have questions, leave them in the comment section. The next one we're going to do is Gad. But Manassa makes up the so-called Cubans. Okay? Let's type that in and see what comes up in the scriptures. All right? And funny story with that. All right, let's just see. Genesis 41:51, and says, and Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manassa, for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai said, he hath made me to forget all my toil and all my father's house. Okay, so that's Manassa. All right, and like I said, funny story. Manassa, because you forget about the Cubans. I ain't even gonna lie. They're, I love their tribe, love their energy, but like, I remember, when I came into the truth and the apostles was breaking down the tribes and stuff, and I remember made to forget the Cubans. So I ended up working with this girl. I mean, she's a woman. I mean, this was years ago, and, she was a very attractive woman, very sweet, very nice. Very nice. I mean, everything you could imagine you would want in a woman, as far as, she had beauty, she was in shape, she was, a model, she was all those things, but it was just something that was very, again, forgettable about her. It was just like, it was like, imagine having all the things and it's just like something's missing here. And, that's Cuba. When you think about the Latin tribes, you in 9 times out of 10, you'll probably forget about the Cubans, man. You might remember the Brazilians. You might remember Mexicans. Mexicans will come in your mind. Puerto Ricans will come in your mind. You see what I'm saying? Costa Ricans, New York Ricans will even come up. But Cubans, you got to be in a very specific place to kind of run into that spirit, like Miami, so that's Manassa, the so-called Cubans. All right. All right. Now, Gad. Gad is the so-called Native American Indians, which is Gad, which is, or God, all right, which is troop, all right, because I believe it was Leah who saw a troop come past, and then she named that son that she was carrying, which I believe it was Leah. I'm just speaking, I believe. It could be Rachel, but I believe it was Leah, and named her son Gad, or God. All right. The next tribe is Reuben, all right, which is the so-called Seminole Indians, all right, which is Reuben, which is it's a son, okay, Reuben. All right. The next tribe is Asher, all right, Asher, which is so-called Brazilians, okay. All right, that Asher, which is Ashar, which is happy. All right, which Ash is where you get the word it's fire from. All right, those are very happy people, you know, very, you know, always got a cheerful spirit, you know. So Asher, those are the so-called Brazilians today. All right. Which a lot of so-called Brazilians are so-called Negroes, because you got to keep in mind the transatlantic slave trade. This is not simply at this point based off of, well, you from here, you from here. No, this is all in the spirit. All right. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, man. You know, the more that you serve the Lord in this thing, you just want mercy, man. You know, you don't really care about is the number. You could be 1,144,000 of, man, whatever, 12 tribes. I don't care. You know, that's not something to boast or brag in, man. We just trying to get the job done, and all that'll be fixed on the other side, man. You may think you a Reubenite, you might be a Judite. You may think you a Judite, you might be an Asherite. You may think you an Asherite, you might be a Naphtali. You know, so that's vainglory, you know. And it says, this is Isaiah 45:4 real quick. And it says, for Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name, and I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. So just be happy that the Spirit of the Lord is resting upon you, and you able to get this information, and that you an Israelite, man. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we are being adopted back. We're orphans in the Spirit. You know, and sometimes orphans don't know all their information. Sometimes they don't know when they were born. Sometimes they don't know anything about them, okay? But they were adopted, and we're being adopted back through the adoption of fathers, going back to Romans, the 9th chapter. So we're being brought back home. So just be happy that you being brought back home. Don't get caught up in, and I'm doing this too. Don't be caught up in that, because that's what got us to this point too. All that beefing about, you know, big Judah and all that bullshit. That shit does not matter. All right. Let me state that, man. Just be happy that you're an Israelite, man, because you could have been a heathen. You could have been an Edomite. All right. Now, the next one is Naphtali. All right. Which is, my wrestling, which is Naphtalium, Naphthalia. Excuse me. Like I said, I'm learning and working on this on myself too. But Naphthalia. All right, Naphthalia. All right, Naphtali. Ugh. That's a word for you. All right. But Naphtali is the so-called Argentinas. All right. The so-called Argentinians, the Chileans, and so on and so forth in South America. Okay. And the 12th tribe. All right. Last but not least, which is a tribe, which is a huge tribe, which is Issachar, which is the so-called Mexicans, all right, which is, he is hired, all right, Yashashkar, all right, Issachar, all right, he is hired, the so-called Mexicans, okay, all right. Now, those are the 12 tribes, in the Hebrew and how you say it. And even in my picture, I think I have it where in the paleo in the text too, I have it written out. So, Lord willing, this was edifying lesson. And until next time, shalom.